These guys from a podcast called "This Podcast Is Making Me Thirsty" want to talk to you, and I think and I said, you don't have to tell me what it's about. I said, if it's called "This Podcast Is Making Me Thirsty," you definitely don't need to tell me what it's about, and I'm going on. This is what I want to do.
It's a Seinfeld podcast. It's called "This Podcast Is Making Me Thirsty." But I thought, this is what a podcast should be.
I just did the Seinfeld guys pod the other day. I came up with
these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Oh,
that one. Shout out. We've done it. I've done it. Have you did it?
I've not gotten a chance to do it yet. I'm looking forward to it.
It's so fun. They're so fun.
When I don't know, it must have shown up in my feed, but I see these guys tweeting about Seinfeld. I'm like, oh, what's this? And I find it's a podcast called "This Podcast Is Making Me Thirsty."
One of the most popular Seinfeld podcasts is "This Podcast Is Making Me Thirsty," co-hosted by Chris O'Hara and Tony Chula.
Welcome to "This Podcast Is Making Me Thirsty," the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This is 2 Up and 2 Down. Here's our producer, Chris, to start us off.
Okay, Thirsty fans. Today we got season 5 episode, The Raincoats. It's a 2-parter. So, Tony, a lot of material here to go through, but it's only 2 ups and 2 downs. So, what's your first?
Yep, The Raincoats, as Chris mentioned, it's one of those kind of 2-parter, hour-long, minus commercials for all the nitwits out there. But yeah, Gamble, Prost, LD, and Jerry kind of all their hands. And this one looks like, one of those kind of jam-packed episodes, heart of the prime time, season 5. O'Hara will give us the lowdown on that, I'm sure. Listen, I got a lot written down. Obviously, an hour-long episode, so you're taking notes a lot. My first up, though, I got to go with it. I got to go with my man Klompus through and through. I mean, every line he says in this episode is a classic. First thing he says, "Who died?" When he calls her, "What boxes?" I'm going to tell you, obviously his wife's there, Doris, friend of the show. He should be down on his knees. The key doesn't work. Get the hell out of here with your knobs. I mean, everything he says, I jiggled it for 15 minutes, cuts his hands. I got to fix your door now. I mean, everything he says, unbelievable. Jerry catches shame. My idiot son can open that door. Love that with Morty. I like when Jerry just hands the phone to Dad Klompus. That's always a good one. The whole thing there. I think what's the difference, morning or afternoon? I save $10. $10 cheaper. The whole thing there. Cuts his hand up. Unbelievable. I mean, it's why you love the show. Going all the way back to the pen, obviously. Just a great scenes with this guy. The whole thing's going down. You got Klompus getting the boxes. You got Doris in his ear. What the hell are you doing? He's no better to do than look at these guys' boxes. Love it. They're so good together. Just great every time Klompus is involved, and that season 5 stuff I love. So that's my first up.
Yeah, this was a great return of a character, from an earlier season. So yeah, that's definitely worthy of an up. So Chris, over to you. What's your first up?
I don't know why I wrote down Klompus. I knew he was going to take it. Although he doesn't like callbacks, but if Klompus talks about the pen, it's okay. It's a hallowed ground.
Cadillac, it goes a little too far, but here it's okay.
So yeah, the Raincoats, April 28th of 94, who go 29.6 million, just right at that cusp, almost 30 in season 5. It didn't really make that big jump into the 30s until the show got terrible, quite frankly. So, and on that night, of course, ABC had Matlock, CBS had Mysteries of the Ancient World, and Fox had In Living Color. So, little comedy action and Matlock going against the Raincoats. So here we go. Gamble and Prost, a lot here. You took Klompus. I got to take friend of the show, may he rest in peace, Mike Haggerty. I mean, incredible episode from all his scenes, with George with the 225 high bowling score, him burning the clothes, the moth-ridden cabana wear, to that final scene with Rudy, Morty, Kramer, Frank, everybody there. Rudy, if you will, Mike, just fit in like a glove. Like you could just picture that guy owning a vintage clothing store, right? And Kramer kind of wheeling and dealing. Kramer knows everybody, but Rudy's just, I don't know. Mike Haggerty was just a gifted actor. Obviously, we've seen him on a ton of things, and his one episode of one scenes, or a few scenes on the Raincoats are just incredibly memorable. We love talking to him. He had a great time. So, and again, he kind of interacted pretty much with, Kramer, George, Frank, and Morty. So he got a lot of interaction there, a lot of great banter, and there was never a bad scene when Mike Haggerty was in it. So for me, that's an easy up. When I think about the Raincoats, I think of him. It's that simple. So Haggerty's my first up.
Yeah, another great guest star with Mike Haggerty there. So good pull. Tony, back to you. What's your second up?
Yeah, well said. I mean, he was the one. Wasn't for him, there would be no Raincoats, right? He's the one who's making the purchase. Yeah, great guy. R.I.P. My second up. I know Harry's not gonna like it. The guy doesn't like talkers. The guy doesn't like close talkers. Doesn't like low talkers, high talkers, long talkers. But for me, I don't know. Every time I watch this, I think Judge Reinhold hit it out of the park. He was nominated for an Emmy for this guest star role. He's unbelievable in this episode. I just think, you say what you want about the talker stuff getting played out. I think, even if you didn't call him a close talker and he just was how he was, I think it would have been enough. I think they threw the close talker stuff in there probably to O'Hara's point. They love these talker lines. But he just nailed this role so well. The way he acted with the Costanzas, so good with Elaine and everything there. Maybe we'll get there. It's an hour-long episode, so things maybe get played out, if you will. But overall, I'm giving Judge Reinhold as a guest star, as the guy who played this role. He just comes right into the room, right up against Helen first, and right over to Morty. Right to Jerry, right to Kramer. Kramer falls down, obviously, but I thought this guy nailed it. Nice. This is one of those things. I don't think he was really doing much before this. Someone can fucking fact check me on that, but he seemed to come back on this out of nowhere. At least it seemed that way. But so that's my second up is the close talker himself, Judge Reinhold.
Yeah, we remember Judge Reinhold, from the 80s, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, the Beverly Hills Cops movies. And then, he had some other movies in the probably early 90s, but yeah, this kind of seemed like his return because we haven't seen him in a while. And I thought he did a bang up job. So, he was definitely one of my ups I put down on my list. So, love Aaron. So, Chris, over to you. What's your second up?
Yeah, no issues with Reinhold. He kind of reminds me of Tony gives all these guys ups. The MetLife windbreaker, the Lion guy. Those two guys, they remind me of each other.
They're both 80 stars from who came back, and I can get that. Yeah.
You get where we're going there. All right. So, you did your two ups.
Good point there, Mikey.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give Morty a full up here. From the 25%, the negotiation with Kramer, I love that stuff. To him, you mentioned Kloppus, him talking to Kloppus, my idiot son. I loved when he was at Pendant. This is some building. Harry Fleming used to have an office here. There's a deli. What happened to that deli? Such an old man, fatherly thing to do, talking about buildings and what used to be there in the city. Unbelievable. To the end where Morty was, what were they doing? They were at the airport picking up the Raincoats, and he was just standing. He was so cocky. Morty was like, I've been in this business, waiting for the Raincoats. Listen, and I don't love Morty the way my partner does, so I'm giving him a sneaky good episode by Morty. Obviously, from the Raincoat stuff to the buildings, just. He just sliced and diced his way throughout this episode. So, great job by Morty. And I don't know, when you get Pendant involved, even just in a small way, and he talks about the buildings, it's great. Lisa Pesce was in that scene for a hot second as well, friend of the show. So yeah, that's my second up, Morty.
All right, yeah, Morty. You don't get corned beef like that any longer. So yeah, great stuff there with Morty. That's for the ups. That's a clean sweep of the guest actors getting the mentions. So, Tony, back to you. We're doing the downs now. What's your first one?
Yeah, it could be foreshadowing a grade here. I don't know, but my first down is actually interesting because it kind of touches on O'Hara's up and my up. But I think with these hour long episodes, sometimes maybe they shouldn't have been right. I think like O'Hara mentioned, you got the ratings going on. They want to cram everything in, make it a big splash, take up 2 time slots, but you got to fill that. And I think the end of this episode really, really just took a dive. The conveyor belt stuff, I'll give you Morty, but I don't know. The box is opened up. That was supposed to be a bad thing, but who cares? They're all still there. They got all their coats. And also obviously the kid and George. I mean, enough with this. And now they're at the airport getting on the plane and the sticks the gum on the wall. That's when I was fine. And then even worse, I just gave the guy an up, but yelling, they gotta give him water. They're gonna dehydrate. Going crazy, way too much at that point. I'm done. I had him. I liked him just talking too much there at the end. I could have done more. My watch could have paid for it. I think it just went just a tad too much, even from my liking, who just gave them an up. That ending, it was last whatever that was, 3 or 4 minutes. Just they crammed everything in, and just to me, completely fell short and ruined the episode a little bit. To be honest with you, because I don't think it needed to go that intensely bad. They could have kind of just left it as it was. They didn't need to big send off with the watch, and I could have paid for this thing, and running onto the plane, and George with the kid, forget about it. Don't get me started there. That could easily be talked about as well. But overall, given that kind of ending there, a down. I don't even know if it's my first down, I believe, right? Yeah, first down.
Yes, I kind of agree to your point there that a little bit over the top, going too full Schindler's List there at the end. Yeah, the kid, I hated that storyline. So I agree with everything there. Chris, over to you. What's your first down?
All right. So the down was the ending. You said you packed a lot there. I just want to make sure I'm clear. And what you forgot is the parents meeting each other on the cruise ship. I think that was the actual final ending, and then it kind of just ended. But who knows? All right, here we go. You know what? My first down is going to be like the Jerry and Rachel stuff. Get a hotel already. You're adults, for crying out loud. And then Jerry leaving a message. Rachel lives at home with her parents, and he's leaving a message. I have the place to myself. Hurry up, come over here, dude. You don't do that. You don't leave a message like that at someone's answer machine. I think I did that to Hughes once, and he got back at me on my answer machine at my parents' house, and he was moaning. Naughty moaning for no reason. Thank God I caught it and I deleted it. Like, what if my parents heard that? Same thing with Jerry. Little obscene. Get a hotel, Jerry. You're making some decent money. It's one night. Give me a break. So, for me, the Jerry Rachel stuff, I don't even know what it is. He's backed up. I get it. The whole thing. I get it. But come on, first down.
All good points there, and I just, as you're saying that, maybe Rachel's got her own line, but we'll stick with the parents are gonna probably hear that message before she does. So no, all valid points, and yes, that's a great down. You're adults, you could find a way around this. So Tony, over to you. What's your second down?
Yeah, I had that. That was going to be my second down. I kind of tied it into the Schindler's List stuff, actually, just like the whole thing there. I didn't like any of it. It's like all they did was, so he made out like he'd be so backed up, like you said, he wants to probably be doing more than that. And why is he doing it? The whole thing. And I left this out of my ending stuff. The parents got robbed because of the door. And then Jerry goes to the door, and the dad doesn't like him. The Newman's the mailman. Oh yeah, I forgot to add that onto the ending. So bad, the ending. Listen. He took my other big down, and then my other big down was it's too long, which I kind of already touched on. So I got one more down here, which isn't a big one for me, but it's still there. I know Howard doesn't like montages. I didn't like this montage, the My Fair Lady stuff. They go into the city again. I like the close talker. I thought they maybe went a little too far with that as well. You didn't have to show all that and the whole thing, singing the song and in the theater. Could have done without. Again, hour-long episode. They're cramming stuff in. I thought Elaine could have just said, we went to see My Fair Lady, took them. It was ridiculous. Like, whatever. Like, that's how normally they would handle that, probably. but they had time to fill. It all kind of goes back to the episode maybe being a little too long. So being that I already took the episode being long as a down, I already took the ending as a down. O'Hara took the Rachel stuff, which I totally agree with. I think that little forced montage there in the middle wasn't great either, and a little bit unnecessary. So that's my second down.
I wrote that down because that was going to be a question I was going to pose to both of you, because I know you don't like the montages or callbacks, but did this work or not? I thought it did, but obviously, Tony, you just told us why it doesn't work for you. So, we'll go with that as the down.
It wasn't a terrible down, but it I could do without it.
Well, I like it because they're going by in the horse carriage, and then George sees it, George just slaps the cab. I don't know, but it worked for me. I'll just say that. So anyway, Chris, your second down. What do you have?
Yeah, didn't mind the montage, but to your point, yeah, they fill these hour-long episodes like the Plaza Cable guy. You got to do a montage. I mean, and great point, Schmidt. George, no offense, why was he getting so mad? Like that the parents weren't coming over? Who cares? What the hell do you care? That's the parents' problem to some degree, I guess. The paella, I guess. All right, I'm not even going to take the close stalker because I don't want to just bombard that. I liked Reinhold. And you made a great point. He would have been great without doing the close talker, just being like friendly or overly friendly. But they have to just jam that into your head, the close talker. So he was great, although you ripped him for the montage and some other down, the ending. That's too much. So I don't know where Tony's going with this. All right, I still have it down. I didn't take the close talker. You did the Big Brother the Big Brother program. They're just sitting there eating, and that guy Alex shows up. I know they got these random friends, and then the kids with them. I don't know. I didn't understand that either. But I'm gonna go Elaine. What was going on with Elaine this episode? I mean, yes, she was dating Reinhold, but she really wasn't funny. There was no big moments. A couple of good conversations peppered in, why do I care? He's just being nice. Actually thoughtful conversation, not funny. So I don't know. I feel like she was a miss in this episode, right? Am I missing something? Did she do something else, or was she just dating Reinhold and they went to?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Certifiably nice.
Yeah, I didn't have any ups for Elaine, or anything that I marked as notable, in my rewatch for this. So
yeah, I'll give her the down then, because nothing stood out, and in an hour-long episode, you thought there'd be something. And I guess the funniest part was the montage with her, like her facial expressions and stuff, sharing the popcorn, But other than that, nothing. So. And that's rare, especially in season 5 with Gavin Prost and the crew. So Elaine's storyline, or just Elaine in general, I'm giving it down here.
All right, folks. That's the ups and downs. So back to Tony. Tony, give us your grade, your final thoughts here. How, it's season 5. So how does this episode rank among that season and all together?
Yeah, and O'Hara, I'm going to kind of just piggyback off that and start with my grades here. So, yeah, the main 4 altogether really didn't do a lot. So he touched on Elaine, didn't do a lot, right? I mean, the Jerry and Rachel stuff we didn't love. I think George got a little too, with the kid I didn't love, but it's a packed episode. I mean, to its credit, I know I kind of poo-pooed it a little bit on too much packed in and going too long. I'm a sucker for Columbus, and I'm a sucker for Morty and Frank. And so, I'm not going to go. I mean, you're going to be surprised by my grade probably as I was talking this thing down, but George in the blue robe and the blue pajamas and the blue slippers at the table with the parents. Come on. Monet Mane, Tippy Tippy Day Day. I use that fucking 3 times a week. Unbelievable. You got Pesci, you got Rachel, Melanie Smith, friend of the show, a tad askew, because George is a deeply disturbed individual, the whole thing there. Maybe this will become a cool thing, like living with your parents. Yeah, maybe they'll both. You'll take off. I mean, that's the whole thing there. The move when they do the interview on Jeopardy, a good example of kind of how that would be a cold open in 7, 8, and 9, and a bad one. But they were able to just have a slip-in conversation that made sense. Good conversation about nothing versus bad conversation about nothing we hear in 8 and 9. I like the Frank and Morty not liking each other. He's a bum and he's an idiot altogether. I never liked the Seinfeld. When Frank hits George in the head, selling my cruise wear. Morty Seinfeld, he's a bum. Listen, I like this episode in a weird way. I mean, Haggerty, like O'Hara mentioned, you think about that sentimental value. Season 5. This was a packed episode. Yes, it was too long. Yes, the kid and going to Paris was ridiculous. I didn't love it. I thought the ending sucked. The Schindler's List stuff was not great. It kind of brought Newman into the fold for no reason. Helen doing her Hello Newman bullshit. Maybe you get a laugh out of that at the time. My grade may shock you, but I'm going with a clean B for the Raincoats. Clean B for the Raincoats. I know we gave a lot of downs on it. We poo-pooed it a little bit, but I think overall, I don't know. Maybe I think it might be the sucker for Klompus and the sucker for Morty and Frank. I think they elevate for me. They can, and I gave Reinhold an up. So yes, the main 4 did not deliver. So we're definitely not going A range. I don't know why I'm going clean B for the Raincoats. That's my grade. Clean B.
All right, very good. And Chris, we're going to go to you next. But I just wanted to get your opinion on Jerry's stand-up in this episode. Do you have that factored into your closing remarks?
Refresh my memory. I didn't write it down, but
I thought his stand-ups were good.
The ATM machine, yeah, you got to be
right. The ATM urinal distance. He talks about the different types of handshakes, coming into
the handshakes is a good one. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good point. That was some good stand-up. Now, historically, stand-ups are not going to completely influence a grade per se. We will give it ups. We may give it downs. But historically, it's for me. But maybe not on this one. But yeah, I hear you there. And the way you were re-talking it up, I thought you were going back to A range because you did love this episode, original rankings. You love Gamble and Prost. It's season 5. I mean, it's you love the parents. So B, yeah. Listen, I have 2 grades. We might land on the same one. You mentioned majority there. You hit all nails on the head. I did like that opening scene at Monk's outside of Alec coming by. Morty and the parents, Rachel. Yeah, it's packed. Pesce, a little too long. Close talker enough. We get it. Elaine didn't hit. But here's what I'll say. It's not like 7, 8, 9 where a bad Elaine and a bad George, like I said, like bring down that ship. Like they're fine, Like Elaine didn't do anything bad. They just didn't really give her a role. Like she didn't do anything annoying, like on the phone in the bedroom, any of that stuff. And George was George, manipulative. He's going sneaking up in the attic. You mentioned the sweatpants. Little out of character, getting so mad that the Seinfelds wouldn't come. Oh no, I agree. The parents hating each other. That was funny. I just don't know why George got up so upset. Jerry didn't care. He's just like, have you ever met the Costanzas? Like, Jerry brings it. He's real. Haggerty, Klompus, Morty, and Kramer negotiating. Yeah, you know what? I hate to do this, but I'm gonna agree with you here. I think it's an even B. I had B plus. I thought about it. Sentimentality, season 5. You could pretty much slap B plus.
I thought you were going low. I thought you were thinking.
No, I didn't. You could throw B plus and above on any season 5 without blinking an eye. So I kind of always think about that. Just think how tough season 5 is. I mean, so. And Raincoats, you never turn it off. And to get a B, yeah. Listen, I still think it's a really good episode, but I think season 5 is so competitive. And if it was a half hour, it might have been an A- if they did it right. So yeah, B, I'm with you.
All right, there you go, folks. I think those are some solid points given throughout this episode. So yeah, B for the Raincoats. And that wraps up our edition of 2 Up and 2 Down for the season 5 episode Raincoats. So thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you on our next one.